far as like traditions, do you need ushers?
No, you don't have to. It's a nice way to include those extra people if maybe you have a few extra friends that didn't make it into the bridal party. This is another like great honor to like have this spot. So that could be another good way to incorporate them. So you don't necessarily need ushers, but you do need somebody who's going to escort people maybe down the aisle, especially if you have like, maybe your dad's escorting you down the aisle. And so your mom needs somebody to escort you. That could be a traditional usher, or it could be like your brother or your uncle or whoever. So you don't necessarily need it, but you probably need somebody to escort someone down the aisle during the processional, like grandma.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
It is nice though. Like, our friend Mark, we were out of room in our bridal party but we wanted to include him because, he's a friend of ours, a good friend of ours. So, we were able to include him as that. And then I was able to be one in his. And it is nice for people, especially when you have, a lot of siblings and maybe your bridal party, maxes out at a certain number. It is nice because then you get to include other people. Yeah,
I think it's a good way. That and readings is a nice way to include people because it is like a prime spot. So like it's another good way to incorporate people if you can't do it in the bridal party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So who walks the bride down the aisle?
So
we've already talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Traditionally, it is the bride's dad. Most traditionally. Actually, a Jewish tradition, though, is both sets of parents, which I have a lot of couples, even who are not Jewish.
That's cool.
Except, kind of taking on that tradition. It's really cool. It's kind of a nice way if you think about it.
Yeah, it's your parents.
Especially like bride's mom. She doesn't get like a whole lot of kudos, a whole lot of like limelight on wedding day.
No.
So that's kind of a nice way to incorporate them. But, it could be anyone in your life. It could be your mom, it could be your brother, it could be an uncle, it could be
Chris Harrison.
It could be Chris Harrison. Yes, it could. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who was that? I don't even remember now. So it could truly be anybody, or you could have nobody. You could just walk yourself down the aisle, which is pretty cool too. I've had brides do that, and I love any variation of it. So if you want to go, traditional, if you want to, make that grand entrance by yourself, like however you want to do it is pretty cool. I also like it when the groom escorts, like his mom. That can be kind of a cool way to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. Who reads?
So, we touched on it a little bit. It can be someone who's not in the bridal party. It could be your bridal party, sibling, family member. Again, it's just a place of honor. So someone who's important to you that you want to honor in some way.
Yeah. My grandmother got to read at our wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's such a big influence on me. So, we wanted to include her. Should we write our own vows?
I love it. I love when people write their own vows. It's a big commitment, and not just like time of like writing your vows, but like saying that in front of people. I think that can be I would imagine that's very intimidating. And it's going to be very emotional. So one cool thing I have had a couple couples do is write their own vows and read them to each other before the ceremony in private. So they kind of get like to say like everything that they wanted to say to each other, but without like this huge audience of people watching and kind of influencing what you're writing and saying, and then saying like the traditional vows during their ceremony. So I think that that's a good alternative if you really want that moment. Like I even had a couple who was just like back to back. They didn't even see each other.
That's what I was about to ask. Do you have to do a first look if you do it that way?
Mm-mm.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you could do back to back and read it to each other. It's kind of like a in between of like a letter and writing, vows for your ceremony. So I think that's like a good compromise if you don't want to spill your heart in front of, 200 of your best friends.
Right. Or if you're not sure if a joke's going to land.
Yeah.
You should probably not do a joke though.
Probably not.
As a general rule.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Why not? If you're a joking couple, why not?
That's true.
Yeah, there's no rules.
No rules. Yeah. All right. So why are we talking about traditions then? I'm just kidding. What's a unity ceremony?
The unity ceremony.
I wasn't familiar with this until you started your planning company.
Really?
Yeah, I never.
Interesting. So the most popular unity ceremony, well, I guess to back up, a unity ceremony symbolizes two families combining and becoming one. So the most common is the unity candle. Traditionally, in like a church setting, the mothers on both sides will come up and light the 2 candles. And then during the ceremony, the couple takes those 2 candles that their mothers both lit and lights like a center candle. So it kind of symbolizes that, you know, both of the families have kind of passed on their love, and then they've taken that and combined it together as one family. So you're creating this one unique family from 2. So that's what it comes from. And so the candle is probably still like the most popular and traditional, but there's lots of really cool variations of it now. So I've seen you can do sand, where you have 2 different colored sands.
I've seen you do that. That's cool.
I've had couples who have done dirt from both of their homes that they combine into one container. So that's
cool.
That's pretty cool. There is one where you like tie rope and like a knot around your hands, like a hand tying ceremony. I'm probably forgetting some. We'll definitely include some links. So check it out on the site. But those are a few that come to mind.
And then just generally, like, what other traditions are there?
So one other tradition is the blusher, which is the veil that you wear.
I'm sorry, the what?
Blusher.
Like I'm blushing?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it comes from. Must be like a blushing bride or something or blushing bride comes from that. But it's where you have the veil, and then you have the other veil like over your face. And so
it's just not one single veil.
It is one single. Well, sometimes, usually yes, and then you pull it back. But the piece that goes over your face is called the blusher. So it's like another piece of fabric. Yeah. So that's a tradition. And usually if you have one of those, make sure you tell your planner or whoever's executing your rehearsal that you have one, so you guys can practice who's going to lift the blusher. You're not wearing it the whole time during the ceremony. Usually whoever walks you down the aisle like lifts it up.
Do you have any couples that do that?
Yeah.
Really?
I probably have a couple every year. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's very pretty in pictures.
Yeah.
And then another kind of tradition that I like is the presentation of the roses to the moms. So I've had couples who have given, who put like a rose on each mom's chair, or who maybe like during the ceremony will go and like present each mom with like a rose and like give them a hug and a kiss. So it's like a nice way to include the moms in the ceremony, because a lot of times the dad's included, but not mom.
So that's pretty cool. I haven't heard of the rose ceremony either.
Look at all these things I taught you.
I know, I'm learning a lot. I'm taking notes. So in the way that I do, which is not take notes.
Not very well.
Not very well. It's all up here.
Okay.
It's all up here.
That's what he keeps saying.
Yeah.